Welcome back to another video tutorial on immunity. Okay, let's get started. Immunity. So I think immunity is one of the major topics being discussed these days. And so most of the individuals try to have good immunity, right? So here let us study what is immunity and what is the classification of immunity, and is immunity present from the time we have been born, or it is something which is acquired throughout our life, and so on. Okay, so coming to the definition of immunity. So immunity is a state or quality of being immune or ability to fight against pathogens. Okay, so that means I can tell it is the body's capacity to fight against pathogens. Okay, now what is this pathogens? Pathogens means it is a small germs. Okay, it may be bacteria, virus, small germs which will affect our body, which will harm our body. Okay, so those are pathogens. So when they try to enter our body, so our body will fight against them. So this ability to fight is what we call it as immunity. Or if I want to explain with an example, I can tell immunity is just like the soldiers. So what will soldiers do? Soldiers will guard the country's border, right? And they stop the enemies from entering the country. In the same way, your immunity stops the germs from entering and harming your body. So anything, okay, so anything is harming your body, when it senses some danger to your body, immediately your body will react and they start fighting against them. So that is called as immunity. Okay, so it may be anything, as I told, it may be pathogens like viruses, bacteria, fungi, parasites, and sometimes, yes, they also react to dust, pollen, animal hair. Okay, for some people, not for everybody, for some people. And sometimes, yes, foreign substances like smoke, pollution, chemicals, toxins, like this, when your body senses some danger, when your body senses something, some harm is happening to you, so it reacts, it starts fighting. So that's what you call it as immunity. Okay, so yeah, so I can also tell it is a resistance exhibited by the host against any foreign antigen towards injury caused by microorganisms and their products. Okay, so and then coming to classification of immunity. So there are actually two main types of immunity. So first is innate or native immunity, and the second one is acquired or adaptive immunity. Okay, so we'll discuss what is this in detail. So before that, yeah, see here in the flow chart, as you can see, immunity is mainly divided into two main types, innate and acquired. Okay, now again you can find acquired is divided into two types, that is active and passive. Okay, again in active there is two types, natural and artificial. Again in passive there is two types, natural and artificial. Okay, so we'll study all of them in detail. So but here now in this PPT mainly we'll focus on innate immunity. Okay, in the upcoming videos we'll discuss what is acquired immunity. Okay. Okay, now starting with innate or native immunity, as the name tells here, native means it is inherited. Okay, so this is the immunity which is passed on from one generation to another generation, and so it is present from the time you have been born. Okay, so for example, I can tell skin, tears, saliva, mucus, stomach acid. We'll study them in detail. All these are present from the time you have been born. Okay, so in all these have the strategy to fight against the pathogens. So they all are called as first line of defense. Okay, so and they are always ready to fight against pathogens. So this is called as innate or native immunity. Okay, and innate immunity is of three levels: species immunity, racial immunity, and individual immunity. So first coming to species immunity. Individuals of some species show uniform pattern of susceptibility to different bacterial infection. So that means I can tell, so it is a type of immunity that is naturally present in one species. Okay, all the individuals of that species do not get that disease. Okay, other species are getting there, but this particular species is resistant to that disease and it is not affecting that disease. Okay, that is called as species immunity. For example, if I want to tell, poliomyelitis occur only in man, that is human. You cannot find poliomyelitis in birds, in animals and all. They will only affect humans. Okay, that is one species. Similarly, if I want to tell cow plague, no, it comes to cows, but it doesn't affect humans. Like that, if I want to tell measles humans will get, dogs won't get. Okay, like that. So it is the immunity which is present in one species, that's called as species immunity. Okay, and then okay, so the second type of immunity is racial immunity. Okay, so now in the human species itself there are many races present. Okay, so races means what? So these are group of people within the human population who share similar or certain physical features like skin color, hair color, facial features, so which are usually inherited. So these are called as races. Now within the species of human itself, each and every different races will exhibit different susceptibility. Okay, now for example, if I want to tell Negroes, that is Africans, no, they are resistant to yellow fever and malaria, whereas all other race people will get it easily, but they do not get it easily, they are resistant. Okay, so why only Africans are resistant to yellow fever and malaria is because of the genetic adaptations. So I think yellow fever and malaria was very common. Okay, and because of the long term exposure, no, so they have adapted and they have genetic adaptations. Okay, and as a result they are resistant to yellow fever and malaria. So this race is resistant, like that. Races also may vary, races also may show different level of immunity. Okay, and then third one is individual immunity. So yes, so within species, within races, if you come, each and every individual will have a different level of immunity. Okay, so immunity, the factors, there's a lot of factors which affect immunity. It may be age, genes, lifestyle, environment, health conditions. Based on all this, no, each and every individual will have different level of immunity. Okay, so but among them it is told that identical twins, no, so they have say similar degree of resistance to lepromatous, leprosy and TB. Okay, why homozygous individuals or twins will have this is because their genes are the same, their body's natural immunity is also very similar. Okay, so if one twin has strong resistance to leprosy or TB, the other twin is likely to have the same. Okay, and if one twin is easily affected, the other will likely to be. That is the individual immunity. Okay, so but every person may be from the same house, they will have different level of immunity. Then okay, so next is factors affecting innate immunity. We'll study them one by one. So first is age. Yes, age plays a very important role. So in the level of immunity. So yes, young children and old adults. Okay, older adults both have very less immunity. Okay, so infants have an immature immune system, making them more susceptible to infections. Yes, so it's like a newborn kid or small children, no, so they have immature immune system. That means they're not exposed to as many pathogens as they can, and so they are not trained, so the body is not trained, and as a result, no, so they will be more susceptible to infections. Okay, so I can tell that your immune system learns and improves every time it faces a germ. Okay, like just like your brain gets smarter when you learn new things, right? Like that, your immune system also learns and improves every time it faces a germ. Okay, so when a pathogen comes, when a germs comes, it infects you, no? So your body goes immediately fights against that pathogens. So what is happening there? It is getting trained as well as it is retaining the memory. Okay, how to fight, what are the steps involved, and it is becoming smarter. Okay, that's how your immunity works. Now, for example, if there's a child, if a child plays outside, touches soil, pets, and gets small infections, no, the immune system learns to fight different germs and becomes stronger. So it is learning everything earlier and it is becoming stronger and stronger. But if the child grows in a very too clean environment, not exposed to any germs, what happens? The immune system doesn't get the chance to learn at all, right? And it becomes more sensitive. So it's not learning, it's not becoming active, it's not knowing how to fight and all those things, and hence it's becoming weaker. That's how your immune system works. Okay. Okay. And then so immunity is less in old adults. Okay, so we might think that old people would have got exposed to all kind of infections, most of the infections, and they have to be more stronger, they have to have the strongest immunity, right? So but the thing is, so as in so the person grows older and older, so the immune cells also will become weaker. Okay, like for example, if I want to tell white that is white blood cells become less active. Okay, and they start responding slowly to new infections, and so they do not have capacity to produce strong antibodies because the mechanism is also become older, the immune cells have become older, and so the body will start producing very fewer immune cells. Okay, so hence, so old people also will have less immunity. Okay, the level of immunity will be low. And then second factor is the nutritional status. Yes, healthy food also matters a lot for building up immunity. Okay, so if you don't eat proper food, the malnutrition, no, so they can affect all cell mediated is immunity, moral immunity. Okay, so and if you do not have essential nutrients like vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D, okay, so they cannot, so these are really important, which makes your immunity strong, so which can release various kinds of cells and they can go fight against the infection. So but when there is no enough vitamin A, C, D, the effectiveness of immune responses will become less. Okay, as a result you will become more susceptible to infections. Okay, and then okay, so next factor is the hormonal levels. Yes, hormonal levels also play a very major impact on the immunity. Okay, so if you have some hormonal imbalance, hormonal disorders like diabetes, hypothyroidism, so they will weaken your immune system. Okay, so and it is also found that individuals with diabetes, no, they are more prone to infections. Okay, and the next factor is stress. So yes, stress is again a major factor which deteriorates your body immune response. Okay, so when you are in under too much stress, no, it releases a hormone which is called as cortisol. Okay, so when this cortisol levels rises in your body, no, so they can suppress your immune system, and so the body will have less capacity to fight against infection. Okay, so and so it will also, this particular hormone will also lead or make you choose unhealthy lifestyles, so which will again further compromise your immunity. Okay. Okay, so next is genetic factors. So yes, genetic factors also play a very important role in the immunity. Okay, so that is genetic factors means the genes which you have also will contribute to immunity. Okay, so people have different genes and these genetic differences affect how their immune system works also. Now, for example, some people naturally fight infections better, whereas other people get sick more easily. Okay, though they have same kind of food, though they're exposed similarly also, so the level of immunity may vary. Okay, so that is because of the genes. Fine. So it means how actively the immune related genes are working in the body. That's what it means. And then environmental factors. Now, constant exposure, that is, exposure to pathogens, toxin, pollutants, can also impact the immunity. For example, individuals living in area with high pollution may experience higher incidence of respiratory infections due to compromised immune defense. Yes, so I can tell that. So I can tell that. So as I told in the previous slides also, exposure to mild natural germs, no, they help the immune system learn and they become stronger. Okay, so but when the pollutions, toxins and harmful chemicals are not germs, they damage the body and the immune cells. Okay, instead of training them, so they cause stress, they cause inflammation and they damage the tissues. So one such example is here. Now for example, when you take an individual living in an area with high pollution, what happens? So repeatedly when they get exposed to all this pollution, no, the respiratory infections will constantly occur and it will compromise the immune defenses. Okay, so that is the environmental factors. Most of the environmental factors also will make your immunity less. So you would have also heard that people who live in cities, no, they have less immunity when compared to people who live in the village sites or who live in the natural environment, because natural environment is made out of nature. You do not have so much of pollutions there, no smoke, no dust, so it will make their immunity stronger and stronger. So but people those who live in cities, no, they are constantly exposed to a lot of pollution, lot of dust, smoke, okay, the air which we breathe in, the water which we drink, so nothing is good here. As a result, our immunity also will get impacted. Okay. Okay. So next we will study the physical barriers, so which is a first line of defense. So why do we call this as first line of defense is because so these are the barriers which react immediately when some pathogens try to enter our body. Okay, so since they respond immediately, first we call it as first line of defense. So these all are inborn. Okay, so they are from birth. So first is skin. Intact skin with a keratin layer acts as a mechanical barrier against bacteria and other organisms. And skin secretion, sebum and sweat are antibacterial and antifungal in nature. Yes, skin is the one which is present throughout our body. So it is the greatest mechanical barrier which is present. So I think if skin wasn't there, it would have been very easy for the pathogens to enter inside the body, right? So skin is very important. Okay, skin is the toughest mechanical barrier. And apart from that, skin also secretes sebum, sweat, so which are antibacterial in nature. And then second is eyes. So eyes will secrete tears, right? So suddenly when dust or smoke tries to enter your eyes, what happens? The eyelashes tries to protect it. You suddenly close your eyes and tears come out of it. Okay, so why basically tears will come out is because tears will wash away the pathogens, and tears also will have bactericidal enzymes which kills the bacteria. Okay, and then apart from that, stomach. So as we all know that stomach contains an acid called HCl which helps in digestion. So apart from that, it also helps in killing the pathogen and it also sterilizes the food. Okay, and then next one is mouth. So natural microbiota, that means organisms, microorganisms which are present in mouth, no, so they prevent the pathogens. And then when you take lungs and nose and all, so there are mucus layer present in the lungs, nose, so they trap the pathogens. Okay, especially in your nose there is cilia, hair like structures, they trap the pathogens and they will not allow it to enter inside your body. Basically the mucus layer in the body is meant for protection, they trap the pathogens. Okay, so when the pathogen, no, tries to gain entry into your body. So all these tries to stop them, and they will not allow the bacteria to enter into your body, or the pathogen to enter into your body.